Hey guys, welcome to another episode with the ladies over in Deer Park, Spokane, Washington. I have Steffani and Rozella with me today. Hi,
Hello.
good to see you guys.
You as well.
John.
Yeah, and
Thanks for coming this way.
Thanks for bringing sunshine when I came.
I know, that too. We love the sunshine.
Yeah, we do. We look cool in our shades, don't we, huh?
Yeah.
Thumbs up for that one, guys.
I know. I freckled good this weekend. And that sunshine I came, I was taking in all.
I love the
freckles.
sunshine. It adds color.
It does. We
It does.
needed it around here.
Starts with the burn and eventually hopefully gets to the tan.
Yep, there's
Yep.
that.
All right, what are we debating about today?
Okay, I asked the ladies a question. Is this a seller's market or is this a buyer's market we're in? And I got some really interesting answers and kind of a little bit of chat back and forth. So tell me,
Well,
what do we think?
statistically speaking, a seller's market is when inventory is low and you have more buyers.
Mm-hmm.
It gives the sellers power because you've got that aggression from the buyers. You have them coming from all over, so you're like, hey, I can ask for more money. I don't need to help out. However, because of our economy, Stephanie's arguing that
My argument is that it also goes back to being a buyer's market due to the fact that yes, inventory is slightly lower, but you have a lot more competition with, in my opinion, the pre-existing homes with now new construction homes, in addition to what current rates are, which gives obviously only a certain audience can actually afford a home right now. So you don't have necessarily as many buyers as we saw a few years ago, which is what really drove it to being that seller's market. To where buyers right now, they're much heavier on their negotiating and taking their time to assess how they basically write up an offer, essentially, and they're asking for a lot more. So then that does go back to, but is that really the sellers that are driving the sale, or is it the buyers? Because we know sellers want to sell for various of reasons, as we've seen. But the
buyers are needing help.
Buyers still want to buy because life is still happening, but they're also being extremely picky with what they will buy and how they will buy. So
Yeah.
that's my consensus on it.
All right, so seller's market, data driven, buyer's market because the emotions and reality of the situation with buyers who can kind of drive the purchase price.
Buying power is from where the buying power is at.
Yeah.
And those pesky rates are somewhat driving this as well. So,
Yeah.
given pesky rates, given that you can consider it either way, let me ask the second question, which is it a good time to buy or is it a good time to sell? How do you feel about both those?
Both are
Yeah.
absolutely great times because sellers are still getting their value. Our averages are still over
Yep.
400,000 in Washington, like in Spokane area.
Yep.
And buyers, yes, you're paying around that averaging point. However, there's no reason for them to lose value in their properties right now. There's nothing that we can foresee, at least, for them to start losing that value unless they're overpaying and not hiring the right professionals to help them. So absolutely, why wouldn't you buy and sell if you're still getting top dollar for your property?
It's a good time for sellers to sell, especially if life or circumstances are causing you to go to that point.
Sure.
And as a buyer, it's a very good time still to buy because at the same time, we have no idea what rates are going to do in a year. There's this looming cloud that people just think that there's this magical flip that's going to be switched and that it's going to bring prices down and the interest rate down, and I'm like, well, I don't know what world you're living in, but that sounds great. I don't think that that's what the trend is going to show because we've still gone up in value year over year. Here in
People have the
Spokane.
most equity in their homes, right? Like in our area,
It's a record amount of equity.
record
Yes.
amount of equity. So that's why not sell if you're at a record amount of equity.
And if the rates don't go down, then if you didn't buy now, then it's going to be even more expensive to buy then, and you can buy even less then. So you might
Quite
as
true.
well, again, take advantage. If, in fact, it does go down, great, good job. You're now sitting in a position where you
you
have
can refinance.
equity built in, and then you can then potentially refi for a lower rate that's going to bring everything down for you. So that's why I always say, don't wait. Like, if you have the ability and the means to, and you need to, start shopping, find a good realtor, negotiate all the terms that make it, make
Feasible.
work. Yes. Don't be putting yourself out into a position where you're banking on the rate to lower, because it might not happen either. Make sure you can afford whatever it is that you're doing, and
Sure.
still go and do it. And there's so many different incentives I still feel like for buyers right now, from different lending credits that are being offered. And again, going back to those sellers, a lot more sellers are willing to now start paying concessions, where I would say in the last 2 years they were not, because they didn't have to. It was like, oh, great, I'll go on to the next offer.
When there's multiple offers, it's exactly right.
Right.
And where we do see multiple offers, I would say are going to be towards those investment properties, which again, they're still paying, more than what you would have paid in the last few years, obviously, for those types of properties, and they need some work. But then at the end of the day, there's still equity to be gained by purchasing and putting in those.
Not to mention
upgrades.
if rentals right now,
Oh yeah.
if you were to buy an investment and do a rental, you're sure to profit on that just because of the cost in our area.
Rents
for
will
those
continue to go up here.
rents are
Right.
Yeah, we just were pulling
crazy. We actually made a video on that, renting versus buying.
I think there's just a huge demand either way for rentals or purchasing, because people need places to live, and
Our
Right.
community's growing.
yep.
Okay, so to summarize what I heard here is if you're selling, there's probably a good reason you need to sell. It's not a bad time to sell. Prices are high, so it's a good time to sell, depending on your situation. If you're a buyer, then you're going to be chasing that house that's appreciating, as Stephanie was mentioning, and
Yep.
appreciation over here is probably around 5% at least. Am I correct?
Or
It's higher.
more. I
Or
did
more.
one that was like 20% equity gain on. It was like right under 20, between 15 and 20%
That's
in 1 year.
Pretty significant.
In 1
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
So let's just be conservative and
No,
say
that's not
5.
everybody,
Yes.
but that was gonna
Yeah, the
be a lower.
conservative would definitely be 5%.
And on a $400,000 purchase price, I think Rozella, you mentioned, that's $20,000 that house is going to cost next year that you're chasing. And as Stephanie mentioned, you get that $20,000. If you buy it now, it's your equity, and when rates do come down, and I think there's a pretty good argument they will be down. We thought they'd be down further now, but they're not.
Right.
And it is a question mark, but probably within a year, maybe 2, rates will be lower, given that inflation gets under control and all of those things that we have no control over.
Yep.
And you can refinance at that time, and you'll have $20,000, maybe $40,000 worth of equity to help you out with that.
And in the event that it doesn't go down, though, like you just said, the chasing, you're not chasing a property that's now gone up, by nature in value, and then your interest rate has gone up. So again, your buying power just got reduced even that much more. So again, why it's beneficial to buy
There you go.
now.
Yeah, it's never a bad time to buy. It really depends, and this is my last question for you guys, on who you're working with and the negotiation that they get for you. Seller credits you mentioned, purchase price and all of that. Let's chat about that. Some closing comments on how can you help people who are buying in this market buy for the best situation for them.
Well, I think it comes down to a couple of things. One, it's important for a realtor to understand what you're negotiating and why you're negotiating for it. Because if you don't understand that aspect of the lending part of it, then you're not going to understand why you're asking it for your client and how to help them. And if you don't understand that, then the contract you write is going to surely show that, and you're not going to do the best by your client that you're supposed
As
to
well
be
as the
doing.
conversation that would be pitched to the agent, because I know both you and I are really good with communicating to listing agents what it is that our clients are looking for, what their abilities are, and just having that very open, transparent conversation beforehand so they know what to expect and why we're asking, that we're not just asking for it to just ask for it. Like there's a reason behind it.
Right.
I would say secondly to that would be hiring a good agent that knows when they go and look at a house
Whether it's worth what it's
what it's
listed
worth
at.
yes, or if they're just slapping some really pretty paint on it with that pretty high price point listing.
Well, I think it goes
Price.
just back to like if you're familiar with the area and you're in a lot of homes and within our communities, you're going to be able to go into the home and have a good idea. Okay, this is what this community typically looks like, and this is the price point that it is typically at. So then when you go into a property, you know, okay, this is above and beyond or where it's sitting. But if you've never really been into those specific communities, because some of our areas are so much older than others. So we have a very diverse, we have new builds all over. We have ones that were 1800s. So we have a lot of different areas that you need to know about. But if you're not used to them, you're going to go in and you're probably not going to argue the best for your client and know, like, okay, they're going to need their sewer scoped here.
Yep.
Like, that's going to
Got
be,
it.
we have, you know, those areas.
Or like, again, like she mentioned, we have a lot of older homes, which are great because it brings character to the home, which a lot of people find that appealing. But with that character are there
Kind of knob and
underlying
tube.
or foundation
Nobody
things
likes
like,
insuring
yeah.
that.
No, so there's all sorts of different factors that you want to be able to have an agent that can help identify, and it's not just like, again, buyers can be emotional and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so cute, and they can picture it, and then we're sitting back here assessing, evaluating, looking at these things like, is this going to be an underlying cost that's going to come to the table, you know, shortly after
Or
they
will
purchase
your
it?
loan requirements
Yeah.
even allow you to buy
That
this
too.
home?
Good
Because
point.
there may be a laundry list of things that you
Mhm.
already know, okay, for lending purposes, my client can't buy this home.
Yeah. Yep. And there's no point in writing an offer that then they spend the time, the emotion,
And the
going
cost
through the
to get
inspection,
an inspection.
then an appraisal to then have it all not even be financeable at the end of the day. So
All good points.
Thanks
So-
for asking.
Having an agent that connects with you as a buyer and understands your emotional needs as well as your other financial needs and your
Yep.
goals, vitally important. Having an agent that knows the market and knows houses and knows issues with houses and can guide you there.
Mhm.
All important kinds of things. I like it.
We don't buy lemons for houses.
And that's why
Lemons
it's
for
important
lemons.
for you
Yep.
to have a good working relationship with us,
Mm-hmm.
because then we can help you.
Yeah.
And he educates us regularly as well,
Yeah.
which is super appreciated.
Yeah, we chat about houses when there are issues that
Or
they're
concerns,
mentioning
yep.
here
Mhm.
to see if it'll go FHA or conventional or some other kind of financing. So that's really important up
Mhm.
front to know that, of course.
All right.
Good partnership. We appreciate it.
And you. Thanks, ladies, once again for your time.
Yes,
Absolutely.
thank you.
Give them a call. They know the market and they know their clients.
And we know you can sell, but you can also buy. So reach out.
Sounds good.
Bye.